Thank you. I too want to acknowledge the presence of former Mayor Barry. Good afternoon, sir. Because it's apropos to my question. The job of mayor is chief executive officer of the city. It's a management job. We are asked to look for management skills to San Francisco and asked to look to Baltimore. I would contend that Baltimore, with the highest rate of heroin addiction in the country, a stalled economic development scenario, and racial stratification such as we've not seen in the district for 30 years, would be an example of how to march backwards. I would like to know how you're going to bring management and executive skills to bear on what is essentially a management and executive job to build on the progress that has been made. And no, it hasn't touched everyone, but we have made progress in this city to move us forward and not march us backwards. Thank you.
I have heard many times references by various candidates in the race, and particularly by Mr. Fenty, that the job of mayor is that of a CEO. In fact, as recently as in this morning's Washington Post, Mr. Fenty was quoted as saying that we have to run the city as a business. I couldn't agree with him more. But that's also why I want your vote. I want to earn your vote, and I need your vote because of all the candidates running. I'm the only one who has worn the title, has earned the title, and has done the job of president and CEO. We have got to make sure, and I also want to make this other point, that my competitors have tried to paint me in a corner, that I am someone who parachuted down from Pluto and decided one day I was going to run for mayor. I've been working in this community for 20 years as a business leader, as a leader in the nonprofit sector, and also I've been turned to by this very government for leadership, whether it's co-chairing the Youth Investment Council, as a part of NCRC, the Healthcare Reform Commission, the Anacostia Waterfront Corporation, or leading the information technology and telecommunications sector for a citywide economic development initiative. So I not only have served as a business leader and as a volunteer leader, but I've also been turned to play leadership roles in this government. That's the background that this city needs. Someone who has been engaged, been involved, and wants to help lead this city forward. Because we can do better. We can be a better city for all.
In an article in the Washington Post within the past 2 weeks, the lead columnist from the business section, Stephen Prostein, wrote an article where he started off talking about my positions on issues. Talked about the fact that I'm a supporter of rent control. Talked about the fact that I'm pro-labor. Talked about the fact that there's no one who's out in the community who's more pro-constituent than I am. And you thought in reading the beginning of the article that he was about to say, well, there's no way in the world this guy could be a good manager. But you would have had to ignore the article's heading, where it said Fenty may indeed be a born manager. And he said no one in this campaign is talking about running the government in pure management tactics like Fenty, holding people accountable, attention to detail, customer service. And we talked about, yes, best practices. Please criticize me for talking to the 5 best mayors in the country, O'Malley, Newsham, Bloomberg. Please criticize me. Because if that is what your criticism, I'll take it every day of the week. Because those mayors know, like I know, that if you want to be the best, you've got to learn from the best. You've got to talk to the best. You've got to get the best ideas. And that's what this campaign is about. It's about best practices. I sat on the board of directors of this city for 6 years, and I'm proud of every day I sat on the board of directors, voting on the budget, voting the issues, talking with the people, going to hearings. I know this government, I know this people, I know where the bodies are buried. We're going to hold people accountable for a change. Vote Fenty September 12th.
We have a a resident of Woodland Terrace wants to ask a question. So, the residents first priority. So, the resident from the Woodland Terrace, coming to the mic.
My name is Cynthia McDuffie, and I'm from the Calvin Woodland Foundation. I have several questions I raise here. This debate should be pertaining to the Woodland Terrace environment. Not to mention, I need to commend Adrian Fenty. He is the only politician that has actually visited Woodland houses prior to this actual election. When we have the crimes over here, Adrian has been here. My brother has been murdered 1 year ago, August the 10th, 2005. Where are the politicians before? We need to meet with the actually, I'm going to get to the question. The question is this debate actually a reflection of Marie John's environment based on the fact all your signs out here? Where are the actual people that's going to come here and actually improve the housing? This is when you know the housing complex are being actually, the residents are actually being forced out of their homes. What are you going to do to save the residents of Woodland Terrace so that they're going to be out into the streets? What are you going to do to stop this? Berry Farms is the only housing complex that's actually standing. Everyone else has been diminished. Woodland Terrace, we know, will be on the market. What are you going to do to save the residents around here, their homes? That is the question that I have to ask. And thank you.
One of the things that we hear most often from people when we're going door to door, first is always schools. Schools is always the most important issue, and it should be. We'll focus on it. But the second thing we always hear when we're campaigning, especially east of the river, is we're tired of politicians getting elected and not coming around after the election. And that is why we're getting great response. If you couple that with the fact that no one has fought harder for affordable housing over the past 6 years. No one has pushed for rental assistance, rent control, the Housing Production Trust Fund, low-income housing vouchers like I have in the City Council. Then I think if you take that hands-on engagement and that commitment to affordable housing, then that is the answer for Cynthia McDuffie. We are going to be out in your community. We are going to be out in your community working with you, the people of Woodlawn Terrace, to come up with a plan with city resources to make sure that as we redevelop and make these great communities even greater, it is going to be with your community input, making sure there's no displacement whatsoever. Thank you very much.
Let me clarify something. Members of the City Council get paid a pretty good salary. And so I'm sorry, I'm not going to give somebody a cookie for doing their job. That's what they're there to do. Number two, I was in Ward 8 putting technology in schools and putting technology learning centers and recreation centers before Mr. Fenty was elected to office. So I'm not every school. And the other thing is, it's different. I was not running for something. I was not a politician. I did what I did because I had the resources to do it, and I love this city, and I love the people, and I want to make sure that this city has the best that I could give it. So what I ask people not to get twisted about is that if somebody comes and does their job as a politician, that's a good thing, and that's what we ought to expect. What I'm saying is, I came not with a camera, but with a commitment to this city to make it the best that I could as one person who had resources to leverage, and I wanted to see our city safer and more educated and healthier. So